Hi everyone, Connie Stewart with SimplySimpleStamping.com, back to share another video in my series I call flashcards. Today's card, oh my gosh, you guys, look at this, beautiful, vintage. We created this fabulous focal point and we did it all using just two little pieces of cardstock from our flashcards. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and start with my flashcard pieces. By the way, if you haven't seen the first video explaining flashcards, just simply go onto YouTube and search Connie Stewart flashcards, and I'm sure this video should pop up. But we're going to be using Baja Breeze and Very Vanilla. Let's start with our Baja Breeze. We're going to do some punching. We're going to be using the Blossom Punch. I want you to punch that just as far over to one side as you can. Okay. Oh, it's always stubborn getting out of there. All right, there we go. Now we're going to come in with the new 1 1/4 inch scallop. Fabulous little punch. I want you to bring that kind of down to the bottom. So we've got that punched out. The last thing I need is going to be right here, and that's going to be my modern label punch. So let's bring that. It's going to be kind of at an angle. All right, we're done with that. Woo! All right, moving on. We've got those pieces done. Now let's come in and figure out what we need to do with that vanilla piece. I'm going to fold this in half. And I'm going to be running this through the floral framelits. This one right here, this is the smallest, or the second to the smallest frame. And I want you to see it's a very, very tight fit. So when you put it through, you do need to be careful, but it does fit. And what I recommend is once you get it set on there, to come along with a Post-it and stick that down, and that way it won't shift as it's going through the Big Shot. So be sure to do that. We're going to run that through, pop those out. We're ready to go. So we have all of our pieces, and now we're going to go ahead and start to prep them through the magic of television. They are already prepped because it's just magic. So what I've done is I've come along with some Baja Breeze ink and I sponged everything. And then I'm going to come in with just a little bit of soft suede, and I want you to just hit the edges. That's what's going to make this just kind of vintagey. I honestly don't know if vintagey is a word today. Today is the magic word. The magic word of the day is vintagey. And when you hear the word vintagey, scream real loud. Okay, I'm going to laugh at those of you that get that joke. But we're going to sponge everything. And now comes the fun part. Just let's get aggressive. If you are frustrated because your kids left their lunch at home again for the 13th time and school has just started, well, just take it out on those little pieces of paper. We are just going to crumble. Let me tell you, man, this is really therapeutic right here. Really get those crumbled up. Feels good. All right. About as crumbly as we're going to get. Okay, we're going to undo. By the way, this technique works really great if you spritz it with water, but I learned a little something, and that is ink runs when it gets wet because it's water-based. I had ink all over me. So even though that is a great technique, I'm not going to recommend it. One other thing you can do if you've gotten really aggressive with your cardstock, you will see it kind of starts to separate as you work with it. Well, I'm going to go ahead and separate this flower. I'll see if it wants to work with me today. Oh yeah, it is. All right, once you get going, oh, it tore, no big deal, trust me, once you see everything we're gonna do to it. All right, so now I've got those pieces. I'm gonna just kind of come along here and just real quick, just antique it up just a little bit, just vintagey it up. Ah! Okay, like I said, some of you may get this joke. Okay, so we're gonna now put all our pieces together. Oh, well, you know what? I wanna do just a little bit of cutting before we do that. I got so excited with the magic word of the day. Okay, so let's take our flowers, and I'm just going to put those together just to kind of make this go faster. Just going to come in with my paper snips, and I want to make those petals just a little more prominent. Okay, I'm also going to repeat this same process with my little scallop. But listen, this is really important. When you go to cut, when you go to cut these little scallops, just about 1/4 inch. Don't go in too far. It's really easy to cut off a petal. So we're really just kind of giving it just a little bit of dimension so the flower will fluff a little bit more, but you're going to do that all the way around. It's going to look like this. So now let's come in with our stamp mat. and our antique brads, and now we're just going to start piling these on, putting them all together. I'm going to take my paper piercer and I'm going to whack it with that. All right, there we go. And let's get a real pretty, ooh, that's a good one. Let's pick a pretty antique brad. That's going to make it look so vintagey. Ah, okay. Okay, we're going to put that together and do a little fluff. Now you can see why we cut those petals, because it really kind of makes it just look a little more like a flower. All right, so our flower's all ready to go, but we got to work on a card. So let's set that aside and get to work on our card. I've got my card base, and I'm going to do a quick stamp with the Made For You stamp and soft suede ink. This is from, Made For You. It says thank you. And I'm just going to stamp thank you at the bottom of my card. I'm going to come along with my word window punch. And let's give that a punch. Oops. Ta-da. Now we're going to, that was my punch landing on the floor. Okay, we're going to come along with the modern label punch. I'll try to keep this one on the table. And let's punch that out so that we have that little modern label. Oh, good. Modern label decided to stay on the table. Okay, now that little thank you, we're going to give that just a quick sponge. And we're going to adhere that onto the modern label that, remember, we've already punched that out earlier with our flash card. And with some snail, we're just going to come in here and insert that into our window. Okay, we are doing good. Now I'm going to come along and I want to run this through a Big Shot Impressions folder. I chose vintage wallpaper. I thought that was a very appropriate one. Just has that nice look that I want. You know, that vintagey look. Okay, the joke's old. Stop. I'm going to come along with some soft suede ink and I'm going to sponge the impression just to kind of make it pop. Sponge the edges. I also came along and sponged the inside and did a little bit of stamping. And I actually put this piece on my wrong sample. So let's just try it again. Oh, you know, always when you're on a video, that's when all the things go wrong. But that's okay. Look at that. Voila. All right, problem solved. Now let's do a little bit of stamping. Here at the bottom, I'm using the Creative Elements stamp, one of my all-time favorites. All right, so just a little bit there. Now we just get to adhere our flower. So there's our fabulous flower. I've taken, about 3.5 inches of our Victorian lace. And I'm just going to put a little dot of snail in it. Fold it in half. Whoops, fold it in half. We've got that. Now I'm going to put a little bit of snail here. Stick it onto my card. With my flower, I'm going to use 2 Stampin' Dimensionals. I find dimensionals just work best when you're dealing with a brad because it gives it that lift that it needs. All right. And we add our beautiful flower. One more fluff. Voila! Beautiful flash card, ready to mail, ready to give. I love it. I hope you do too. It's just a happy. I hope you enjoyed this card. I hope you enjoy the flashcard series. Keep tuning in. There's more to come. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.